Have you heard somebody say that leads are the heartbeat of your business? The way that we define leads today and use that term in our industry, it absolutely is not the heartbeat of our business. It's just the start. And to be completely honest, leads are not going to change your life. They're not going to do anything if they are given to you. And I'm here today to talk about your lead generation strategy, how we can turn it around, and how we can dial in and survive this little real estate shift that we're feeling in our industry. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane with the Real Estate Agent Playbook. This is one of my favorite conversations, if you've watched the channel, to talk about all of these lead generation strategies. You can't go a day in a Facebook real estate group without what's the best lead generation strategy. No one gives you hot leads. There is no system. So today we're going to talk about that. I do talk about that a ton on this channel and how we can self-generate our leads and build a business that's sustainable over a long amount of time, as well as be fun while you're doing it. So if you like that, you like what you hear, like, comment, subscribe. I'd be happy to chat with you. I do realtor game plan calls below. There's a link below. I would be happy to connect with you, look at your business, and get you set up on the right track. So let's get into this. First and foremost, leads. I will tell you that the industry has overused the word leads, and here we are, right? Leads are defined as a name and a contact piece. That is, to me, not a lead. And if you're putting out a bunch of content and you're doing a bunch of ads and social media, maybe there is a minor intent, but social media ads, 1 to 100 conversion, and it's 8 times to contact them. No matter where they come from, you know, it seems that 99% of the lead generation platforms out there are just giving you data, right? And so a lead is not a data point. And so we should probably change the terminology. A lead would be someone that actually has intent to sell real estate or generates a real estate conversation after you have that data point and you access the communication portal that they clicked on, or, you know, if you're doing phone numbers or cold calling or texting or, you know, emails, whatever that is, right? And so that's really when the lead converts, is when we have those conversations. And so if you think about it, 1 out of 100 leads convert on a good day, and people are like, yep, that's good, let's go. It's the same as just cold calling 100 random people, right? Just open up the phone book to, you know, page P. That probably doesn't happen anymore, but you know what I'm saying. And just dialing people and saying, hey, do you want to buy or sell real estate? And so I guess there's a little more intent. Most of the intent is kind of the dangled carrot, you know, click on this, give me your information. You can see the rest of the pictures and they're gone. And not to say that leads are a terrible thing, but the nurture and the setup is so intense that we as agents are constantly like, oh, I'm going to go to this brokerage and I'm going to do this and I'm going to get all these leads. And we just expect someone to hand us leads. And when people are saying they hand us leads, typically, unless they're very expensive, it's a data set point, right? And that's all it is. And so let's quit calling it a lead, because the intention is so minor to get onto those lists and to, you know, with its social media or whatever, that it's not really a lead. It's just someone who clicked on something or, you know, gave their information at some point or whatever. Now, there are targeted lists and all the things. I'm not saying that cold calling is, you know, terrible, but the ability to target a certain list and talk to, you know, the people that we're looking for, our ideal avatar, is lost in the word lead these days. So then we turn our attention to, if we're going to use that much energy and dial all these people and call all these people and text and set them up on these campaigns. Now, granted, you know, some of the CRM campaigns are great. I'm not a huge drip campaign guy, so I struggle with the waving the magic wand thing. And maybe that's why I don't do the mass lead generation kind of tactics. I focus on my business, who I like to serve, how I can have conversations on a day-to-day in my regular life, right? At my daughter's soccer games, at their gymnastics, at whatever. And I just want more conversations. And so the word lead obviously I don't like it, but it's so convoluted that I would like to focus on conversations. And that's not anything crazy. It's just a little bit further down the road, right, of intent. And so if I can have these conversations with people that I already am surrounded by, that I have things in common with, that I live in the same area as, versus, a random, Facebook, home buyer lead or whatever that looks like, or, OpCity or Redfin or all the things, right? Then that's way better for me. If I can spend less time answering my phone for a Zillow lead because, and driving across town and wasting the gas and the time and whatever, and for that to convert, below 10%, if I could use all the time that I'm putting into that to look at my life and build that leads platform based on what I'm already doing and the conversations I'm already having, and just having a little more intent, that's what I want to do. Because then, take for instance, my daughter's gymnastics. There's a lot of hours, there's a lot of things, but as a team, as a gym, it's kind of understood in that community, when the meets are, when the practices are. And if I can help people throughout that gym, they get it on a different level, right? Oh, I can't show houses that day because I have a meet or whatever. It's just more enjoyable across the board. But I think so much of it is like, oh, I need leads. I need someone to give me leads. So I'm going to join this team and I'm going to, work their leads, and then I'm going to pay them 50% or whatever that is. If you really think about the time invested in chasing those leads that they do give you, if you could just step back and build your business that way, and based on conversations, based on what you're doing, which is exactly what my course that I am releasing is about, right? And if you're interested in that, comment webinar below, and I will get you an invite to the webinar that will lead into my course and becoming a listing agent in 30 days, right? Because with all the NAR lawsuits and all of that, we definitely want to become a listing agent first and foremost. And the internet lead thing has always been like, oh, buyers will bring listings, serve buyers, and then they'll turn into listings. That's great, but we don't have the time, and you have such an opportunity right now to change your mindset around this term leads. So if you can take any lead generation idea, right? Open houses, cold calling, door knocking, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, sphere of influence, your church group, your gym, and then leverage industry partners around it, which is exactly what the pillars are based on in my course. You can truly dive in and have a holistic business, right? It's not true that your sphere of influence cannot be consistent and you need other lead forms. The truth is, we just need to be consistent with our spheres of influence, whether that's industry partners, whether that's YouTube, whether, the communities that we build. If you can become a master community builder across open houses, across cold calling, door knocking, whatever you do, if you just focus on building that community up or that pillar up, that would absolutely change the way that you operate your business. It would be much more fun, it would be much more consistent, and it is 100% possible if you would take the time you're chasing leads or sitting there looking for new lead generation platforms or whatever, and apply it to those specific platforms, and not a ton, right? I recommend 4 pillars of business to really focus on and drive business to. Doesn't mean you can't work outside of those, but that's where your lead generation comes from, is those 4 specific pillars. And you would be shocked to see how it spreads like wildfire. And so once we do that, we really focus on our personal brand, right? Doesn't matter what brokerage you're at, your personal brand. People typically work with you as a real estate agent. Very few people even really understand that they're signing a contract with your brokerage and you're just the representative of that. We don't need to go down that road and how we, operate our exclusive rights and our contracts with our buyers and our sellers. But that is exactly where we need to dial in, is our personal brand, right? You need to bring a brand to the table, an experience, right? And so if you can do that, you can start to work with, people in your little communities that you've built and you've created, and they rely on you as a resource within those communities. Then we're going to start building that personal brand, and you can build your brand around those communities, right? You can be what you need to be within your niche or within your personal brand. And the beauty is we do have to follow the state laws of advertising, but if you can put a logo on an experience and a reminder, an icon for them to see, when they see the JK, it's, service, white glove service, extremely knowledgeable about the market, constantly helping us understand our asset and what we can do and our options. That's the brand that I've built. And I slapped this logo on it. The last part of the last icing on the cake, right? The logo and the colors. That's usually where we start the brand. But if I can incorporate an experience with this icon, then it is just a reminder, right? It just helps with the omnipresence, which is what we're going for. So once we've built that consistent brand, people recognize us, they recognize the experience, and we deliver over and over and over again for our clients. Then we need to really focus on just getting started, right? And the biggest thing right now is shiny object syndrome. We need to dial it in. We need to focus in. And that's why those 4 pillars are so important, right? We can bring other strategies into, our open house strategy that we learned from cold callers, or a script that we learned from a door knocker or whatever. But let's not get too crazy and build a whole strategy around open houses and then be like, okay, I need to go door knock 100 neighborhoods when it's not associated with an open house. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't cross over when you're doing open houses with calls or door knocks or whatever. I'm saying if open house is your strategy, build that strategy. Maybe it's knock the 100 doors around or whatever, but let's not just all of a sudden start door knocking random neighborhoods not associated with open houses and so on. And so that's the traditional piece of my course, is just picking one and maybe crossing over a little bit, but not, being like, oh, this script was so good, I'm gonna just go start door knocking today, right? And obviously traditional lead marketing, people aren't just jumping on the bandwagon to go door knocking or cold calling. But if you do, and that's your pillar, build it out and get consistent and start. Right? You have to lay a foundation. You have to have a plan. What's the map of where the client's going to go? I don't love the word funnel, but that's what we need to do, is kind of, okay, this is what happens the first time they come to an open house. And then they're going to get emails on, invites to other open houses. And then we're going to connect with them on social, and they're going to see my open house videos, and then so on. So you have that. Then you have the social media branding stuff. This is another place where people kind of focus all over the board. Focus on one platform, build it up, make it, real estate / personal, and then you can move forward there. And then we're, all of a sudden incorporating a sphere of influence. It's a kid's school, a kid's, whatever. And so as you can see, it has to have a plan. And then you have these 4 pillars, and then you kind of incorporate them all, right? At open houses, you're driving people to your, YouTube channel, and at church, you're driving people to your YouTube channel, maybe inviting them to open houses and so on. Maybe having a feature of a local business at the open house, maybe a coupon giveaway for a restaurant or whatever. And you're starting to just bring all of this together, and that's where it is. But you have to build the foundation. You have to build a plan. So make a little roadmap, right? Where are people going to go? How are we going to do this? We're going to be really strong at open houses. We're going to build our social media in the background, but we're still going to do it. We're going to get consistent. And by the time, we get consistent views and traction, we're going to be able to, have people in this, sphere, which I call the whole thing. Everyone's in your sphere of influence, no matter how you get them there. That's the game of business, right? And so we're doing this, and we're making all of this happen. And then we move on to, the next social media platform or whatever. It's not, we're going to do Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok all at the same time. Build one, make it right, season that audience to understand what you're looking for, who you're looking for, and then you can start to go to the next one. And so I think that's really important to avoid shiny object syndrome. But step 1 is not getting a contract, right? Step 1 is laying the foundation, have it in your head, have the funnel, have the roadmap, whatever you want to call it, where you're going to send people and how this is all going to play out. Like, have a vision, right? Start with the goals and get to work, right? Because we have a lot of visionaries. I'm a visionary as well, where it's like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then we don't have the steps in between to get to where we want to get to. So that's super important. You must get started, and then you must apply consistent effort to those 4 pillars day in, day out. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty. But if you do it for 12 weeks, I almost guarantee you will see success. And if you don't, and you absolutely hate that pillar, after 12 weeks, you gave it the good college try, throw it out. So that's super important on the getting started piece and building a self-generated lead business. And finally, once you have that, then all of a sudden you don't even have to use the term lead, or maybe the lead is much more qualified than it used to be. The conversion is a lot higher. We're not paying, 50, 35, whatever percent to the lead generation company before we pay our company splits. And that's really where you want to get to. And so I can tell you from experience, the other day I went on vacation. Of course, you want business, go on vacation. That's not the true secret, but it seems to happen a lot. And I got 4 people under contract in one weekend when I was out of town, right? 3 of them I knew from middle school, right? I'm 40 years old. So middle school, what's that? 12 years. So that's, 28 years ago, I met these people and stayed in touch with them. They were in my Facebook sphere, most of them. And then 3 of them from middle school, and the other one I've known for 20 years. He's my brother-in-law's best friend. So that was really cool to kind of sit back and think. But what was great about it is I was sitting on the river in the mountains on vacation with my friends, and people understood, right? They knew that was okay, right? Getting away with my wife and some buddies for the weekend. And so they were accepting of that. If it was somebody I met off, a random list that I called and they actually answered and we converted them into a conversation and then into an actual transaction, they might not have understood kind of that piece of the pie. And that really hits home. So when you step back and think about it and the deals that you do, look back at the deals you do and the ones that have been, understanding. And I get it. Some people hate working with their family. I'm not one of those people. I want to help the people I love the most. And I understand how stressful the process is. So I'm there to make the situation as good as I possibly can. There is no zero stress, right? There is no zero stress in a real estate transaction. So my family, my sphere don't expect that, but they know who I am holistically as a person because of the branding, because of how I generate leads, and they make it great, right? And so they understand not all transactions are great and amazing, but for the most part, when I step back and look, if I'm dealing with people that already know, like, and trust me, or someone that they know already knows, likes, and trusts me, it's way easier, right? And then they come back and it's a circle, right? They come back as repeat clients, they refer me business, and that's where the gold happens. And that's where sphere of influence, if you will, grows and is sustainable and much more consistent than dialing 200 numbers a day to get 1.5 conversations. So all in all, that's the business, right? We have to generate conversations. So next time you think about it, I need to get some leads, I need to do this, look at your business, look at your personal brand, and let's build a plan. Realtor Game Plan, call below. I'd be happy to chat with you, or you can comment webinar. I'll get you the link to the webinar, and then we can talk about, purchasing my course down the road. So I hope this helps. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.